Good morning, my brothers and sisters, and all my friends. This morning we are going to talk about who is the true leader, part 2. And this morning I'm going to tell you the story about Lord Shiva, the Lord of innocence and trust. And he's known as Bholenath. That's his name in the Indian tradition of wisdom. And he's the greatest yogi. Or we could say he is the primordial Purusha. He is the primordial divine consciousness, the universal consciousness. And he got a name, Bholenath. The reason for him to get this name is that he is practicing, or he practices, infinite innocence in all circumstances. But his practicing of innocence, infinite innocence, is engaged infinite innocence. He is aware, he is omniscient, and he is aware about every moment, now, the past, and the future. And his symbol of the trisphere is none other than the evolutionary urge of the lotus flower. And that tried trishul are 3 petals of the lotus, the opening lotus, the lotus urge of the cosmic evolution. He doesn't have any other weapon. His weapon is evolution. His weapon is the great lotus urge, the great evolutionary urge, symbolized as the opening lotus, the 3 petals, 3 births. My dear brothers and sisters, is the incredible symbol of evolutionary wisdom. And he is, and he had attained the high pedestal of the greatest God, the greatest Lord, through his sacrifice. We all know that there had been a myth, a story of churning the ocean by gods and titans, using the great serpent Sheshanag as the rope and the great mountain Meru as the churner. And through this action, this churning, came out 14 great gifts out of the ocean. And this great churning, my brothers and sisters, happens in us all the time. The good thoughts are gods and bad thoughts are titans. And we have to establish the leadership within, that we give the preference to the good thoughts. We help the gods in churning this ocean. And we could afford to get those 14 gifts. But my dear brothers and sisters, the 14th gift is the most terrible gift, because along with these 13 great gifts of prosperity, peace, and progress, come along with the greatest poison which can burn the whole universe, which can destroy the whole universe. And what is that poison? that poison is known as Halahal. And all our these human faculties supporting good work and bad, the evil, the titans, these faculties, gods and titans, no one is interested to drink that. So they all run away. And then they finally decide to bring this Halahal, this great poison, to Lord Shiva. And they said, we can't afford to drop even a drop on earth or anywhere in the universe, because that will destroy the whole universe and that will set up the chain of evil on the universe. So Lord, you must drink it. So he said, all right, give me. And he drank the greatest poison born out of that churning of the ocean. And they say he is the greatest yogi, and he, through his power of yoga, he hold that poison in his neck and didn't let it go down to destroy his body. And he became the Nilkant, the blue-throated, the blue-throat god, the greatest god. He sacrificed his own life. That's how he became the greatest Lord. To become greatest is not through self-glory and gratification and grabbing the prosperity and grabbing the heaven. But one becomes greatest through sacrifice, through self-sacrifice. So this is the first litmus test. If we want to judge anybody's greatness, try to see how much sacrifice that person has made, that leader has made. So my dear brothers and sisters, as the story goes, that he became the greatest Lord, the Lord of innocence, the greatest yogi. But how he established his leadership, there is also an episode. And that episode tells about the fire god, who is the Agnihotra of the gods. And he takes everything back to heaven. He is the carrier of all that is on earth back to heaven. So when he reached back to heaven and he presented himself to Lord Shiva, the greatest Lord, and Lord Shiva said, "O fire god, did you bring everything back from earth to heaven?" Then the fire god said, "I'm sorry, Lord, I could not bring some ashes." He said, "What do you mean you could not bring the ashes? You have all the power in the universe. Why didn't you bring even the ashes?" So the fire god said, "No, my Lord, those ashes are impure." And Lord Shiva was so hurt to hear that from the fire god, the great Agnihotra of the earth and the universe. And Lord Shiva said, "Oh dear fire god, there is nothing impure in this universe. All comes from me and all returns back to me. So please go back and bring the ashes back to me." So the fire god said, "I'm sorry, I will become impure myself if I bring the ashes, the cosmic dust." So Lord Shiva said, "If you cannot bring the ashes back to heaven to me, they will be condemned to stay on earth forever. So I better go there." So if abundant, if left the heaven forever. And he said goodbye to heaven, and goodbye to all the gods, and goodbye to all your great heaven. For me, either the heaven is all inclusive or there is no heaven. And I go to earth and rescue the earth. The earth is the planet of cosmic dust. So he came on earth and is lodged on the Mount Kailas. And he smeared all the dust of the earth on his body, the story goes, and made that earth, that ashes, green, and gave life again through his own perspiration of yoga. The greatest elixir of immortality he brought through his own yoga exercises, the perspiration of Lord Shiva. The great water, life-giving water, the life-giving elixir of immortality. And he made the earth green and gave life. So he rescued the cosmic dalit, the earth, which is the planet of cosmic dust. That is the leadership. That is the spirit of leadership. And that is the attitude, the trishul, his weapon of this lotus urge, the three births, the opening lotus, is his weapon. The whole evolutionary activity, the universal evolution exercise is his weapon. He doesn't have any other weapon. He controls everything through evolution, through the good of everybody. So that is his attitude towards evolution. And that is his state of mind, the infinite innocence and trust. And that is his resolution and intention to rescue the cosmic dalit earth. And he came to stay on earth, to rescue the cosmic dalit, the planet of cosmic dust. That is the story of Shiva. And he tells us the qualities and qualifications of a true leader. A true leader must have non-judgmental mind, non-judgmental eye, which will see good in everybody. He must have the Bhadra eye. This great mantra which I love says, Sarva bhavantu sukhina, sarva santu niramaya, sarva bhadrani pashantu ma kaschit dukh bhag bhavet. The Rishi says that let all the worlds be happy, and let every sentient being come out of the illusion, the great illusion of Maya, and become healthy Niramaya. Sarva Bhadrani Pashan, this is what I love really. And this is what it talks about quantum physics, the message of quantum physics, the message of quantum observer, to have Bhadra. They had a great monument built in Indonesia, Bhadra. The great Bhadra. Buddha was known as great Bhadra, having the great eye of benevolence, non-judgmental eye, to see the good in everybody. We see the good in everyone, all around, and we judge nobody. That's Bhadra eye. So having that Bhadra eye, that feeling, and this cannot be possible without practicing engaged innocence and trust in everybody. That is the first qualification of the great leader, the true leader. Because if your leader has a bad eye, judgmental eye, then he is no leader. He loses the high pedestal of leadership. He is not supposed to be the leader. Because he has not cultivated the Bhadra eye, the eye of goodwill, the eye of seeing good in everybody. So Bhadra eye, with the help of practicing every moment infinite innocence and infinite trust, in his creation. That's Lord Shiva's eye, Bhadra eye. And having the weapon as the evolution. Evolution as a weapon. This whole process is the weapon of Shiva. Having the lotus urge to come out of the mud and be beautiful like a lotus flower, where the gods will come and find the seed on lotus flower. So you see all the symbols of Hinduism, Buddhist and Jains, all the gods sitting on a lotus. Means they are the highest evolved souls, the great bodhisattvas who are hands of God. My dear brothers and sisters, so that is the weapon of a true leader. He is only interested in evolutionary good for the all-inclusive, unconditional compassion and evolution of everyone towards the higher states of divinity. That's the weapon. And the third, the resolution, the great intention, the sankalpa, which is known as Shiva Sankalpa. The greatest intention. As it says in Veda, Manome Purusha. The Purusha, the great Purusha, the great universal consciousness, the great embodiment of the consciousness of the universe is known as Purusha. And that Purusha, that Shiva, the Lord Shiva, is made out of the Sankalpa. He's made of the Sankalpa, and so is the man. The man is made of the Sankalpa. This is what we are. The resolution and intention. So Lord Shiva has the greatest resolution and intention to rescue the last one in the line, the forsaken one, the dalit, the cosmic dalit, the left out. He is having that kind of resolution, that not leaving anybody and ready to even abandon the heaven, ready to forsake even the heaven, all his comforts of heaven, and the greatest sacrifice he is ready to do for that intention, the greatest resolution of doing good, the universal welfare, universal goodwill. That greatest intention, that resolution, and that is the third qualification of a true leader. My dear brothers and sisters, let me give a cap to my talk with the story of Jesus. Lord Jesus was in fact the embodiment of Lord Shiva's urge, Lord Shiva's message to the humanity. And Jesus decided and made a resolution, with a firm resolution and a firm intention to rescue whole humankind, the whole humanity, from the original sin. And what is that original sin? The original sin is believing in the arrogance of our wisdom. That's a serpent. And that is the greatest cosmic problem. And let me tell you what is the original sin. The original sin is the arrogance of the human mind, which is born out of the wisdom, because this is the greatest cosmic arrogance, which is born out of the wisdom. There is no other arrogance as great as the arrogance born out of the wisdom. So that was when they were churning the ocean, the 14th gift of the deadly poison which came out of the ocean. And that whole exercise of churning the ocean is the wisdom process. which happens in us with the help of good thoughts and bad thoughts all the time. This goes on every moment in us, the churning of the ocean. So we also receive, along with the elixir of immortality, we also receive the deadly poison of arrogance of the wisdom. And we become so arrogant that our arrogance could burn the whole universe, can destroy the whole earth. And that is the serpent, symbolized by the serpent. And that was the original sin, the arrogance of the wisdom, which was born out of the tree of the knowledge. As the Lord said, don't eat the fruits of the tree of the knowledge, but do eat the fruits of tree of life. That was the first original sin. And this arrogance, cosmic arrogance, born out of the wisdom, made Adam and Eve behave and disobey the great Lord. That was the original sin. So in order to wipe off the greatest sin on humanity, because we know that Adam and Eve are our progenitors of the humanity. So Jesus decided to sacrifice his own life, and he carried the cross, his own cross, every day, whole life, through every action he performed on earth. That was Lord Jesus. And that is the message of the Jesus, and how he proved to be the great leader of humanity through his self-sacrifice, through carrying the cross whole life, every moment, and becoming the Lamb of the Lord. So these two examples and these two episodes and these two myths of the humanity, the Lord Jesus and Lord Shiva's story, tells us who is the true leader. So you have to sacrifice. You become the great leader and true leader through the sacrifice, not through the self-glory and self-aggrandizement, and not through the profession, because the leadership is a mission, like the mission of Jesus Christ. It's the mission of Mahatma Gandhi. It's not a profession. And this is the problem we have in the world today, that the leadership has become the profession. And that is what is creating all the problems. We don't have the true leaders, and we have this great disease of global moral collapse of the leadership. Thank you very much, and have a beautiful day. Thanks, my brothers and sisters.